A church in Mexico, submerged for about 60 years, has reappeared. No apparent divine reason for the change. Climate change is more like it.
It does sound like magic, doesn't it? A church has reappeared. The church they're talking about is called the Temple of Santiago. It's really old, and typically you'd think the kind of thing that tourists would flock to, but it's usually completely inaccessible, entirely invisible, because it's underwater. Been that way for almost half a century, except now it is fully above water. And this is a very bad thing.
What we're seeing is not at all surprising. And, one of the things I like to emphasize is almost nothing happens that wasn't predicted by climate science in the last few decades. And this is another successful prediction.
Okay, so first let's get situated. The Temple of Santiago sits in the Nezahualcóyotl Reservoir in the southern state of Chiapas. That's about 800 kilometers southeast of Mexico City. It was built in 1564 by Spanish conquistadors, but it was abandoned a long time ago when a plague hit the area in the 1770s. Now, fast forward to the 1960s, a dam was built and the reservoir was filled up, drowning the church under about 100 feet of water. It has reemerged a couple of times since then. In 2002, the water dropped so low people could actually walk to it, but eventually the level crept up. And then in 2015, the water level dropped again. So here's what it looked like then. Local fishermen even took people out on boat tours to see it, and look at it now. And to get so close that you can touch it, like literally climb onto it, explore real-life ruins, that's really something. But that lack of water, 30-foot high walls suddenly exposed, that has been an absolutely devastating problem for the country.
Tonight, desperation spilling into the streets of Nuevo Leon, Mexico, as families rush to stock up on water. Some using buckets, others the pots from their kitchen, anything and everything to collect the last drop.
That was from 10 months ago. It's just been too hot with too little rain. And that reservoir where the church is, it's at 29% capacity. That water is used for irrigation, hydroelectricity, drinking, and now it's mostly gone.
Sí, esto comenzó de marzo, lleva como 5 meses que comenzó a bajar la presa, a bajar, hasta ahorita donde estamos. Y sigue bajando. Sigue bajando la presa.
What was supposed to be the wet season last year, so from October to December, normally they would get around 28 inches of rain. But according to AccuWeather, they only got around 11.5 inches, less than half the normal amount.
This sort of Western North American drought has been going on for 2 decades. So you don't have to lose a lot of water every year, but it accumulates. The moisture deficit accumulates, and pretty soon you've got a dry reservoir.
Está muy caliente el agua. Es una temperatura muy caliente, entonces lo que hace es morir el pescado. No resiste el pescado. Y entonces ahí estamos teniendo mucha pérdida.
And Chiapas is hardly the only part of Mexico facing drought conditions. The crisis is very much countrywide. Mexico is in its 3rd heat wave of the year. Temperatures in some areas have soared over 40 degrees Celsius, and it could persist for another 2 weeks.
It's not surprising that when droughts hit, they're more severe, and that given all the other things that are happening, populations are increasing, people are using more water, the water infrastructure isn't keeping up, that these reservoirs, these lakes start to decline.
And I should say, this isn't just a this year problem. It's been like this for some time, from last year in Mexico's north.
These are the driest conditions the region has seen in 30 years, with recorded rainfall levels far below average.
The problem has gotten so bad, reservoir stores so low, that authorities have even turned to cloud seeding as a way of encouraging rain.
Authorities have been seeding in different parts of Mexico since 2021, but the target of this new program is the 7 reservoirs of the Cutzamala water system. That's because these reservoirs through the system deliver water into Mexico City where there are chronic shortages.
So it's worth keeping in mind, the church and its resurrection is indeed a sight to behold, but there is very much an ugly truth that revealed it, and not just in Mexico.
You see the same thing happening in the U.S. Southwest as Lake Mead and Lake Powell go down, they're uncovering the bodies of gangsters that were dumped near Las Vegas, that were killed in Las Vegas in the 50s. So this is happening all over. If you're a gangster these days, you really need to find a different place to dispose of your bodies.
There's a thought. Thanks for joining us here on About That. We'll see you tomorrow.